Yeah, and to give you guys some perspective, you got to go back to our reporting in 2017, 2018. That is when we tracked all the hit and runs in Philadelphia to 26,000 different locations. Then in 2019, we found 9 people died from hit and run accidents in Philly. In 2020, that went all the way up to 28 deaths from these hit and run accidents. Well, all this reporting, there's a city councilman who was watching, and today he took action and started hearings.
These are collisions that kill.
He was a son, a father. He was going to get married this year.
One killed Robert Evans in January 2020.
He was just a great, kind individual.
Another killed Will Lindsay last July.
A car came by and hit him and continued on.
Robert and Will are 2 of the 28 people killed by a hit-and-run driver last year in Philadelphia.
My worst fear came true.
Their mothers still don't know who was behind the wheel.
And we're hoping that somehow, some way, that person would come forward just to have some closure for us.
What's so devastating is how common these crimes are and how uncommon it is for police to solve them.
I do remember listening to one of your stories and listening to a father talk about his 4-year-old son who had been killed in a hit-and-run situation. That was specifically in your story.
Wednesday, a year into office, City Councilman Isaiah Thomas began hearings.
It was no secret that you, Mitch, and the entire team over there have been on top of this issue for a significant amount of time.
The chair of the Streets and Services Committee is especially alarmed by hit-and-run deaths doubling in 2020, in a year most of us spent home.
We know that we see more deaths in 2020 than what we've seen in over a decade.
Now, he says, is the time to talk about solutions. The council began by listening, first to police.
The police department's ability to hold drivers accountable is minuscule.
Then academics.
We must narrow our driving lanes.
And finally, moms like Stephanie Evans.
My son was lying in the street dead.
Much of what council heard today has been said on our air before. Today, the commanding officer of Philly's Accident Investigation District told council members his unit can only investigate 4% of the tens of thousands of car crashes each year in the city.
Because the consequences are nil.
It's almost identical to what he told us 2 years ago.
There's not much in the way of consequences, and a person has a pretty good chance of getting away with it.
We've talked to our state lawmakers about stiffer penalties.
That's my only child.
Along the way, we've met too many grieving families.
I don't need no other family being heartbroken.
They warned us years ago about the consequences of inaction.
Why is this time going to be different?
Well, Mitch, I'm going to be honest. I can't promise you it's going to be different. I could just promise you that it's a different person that's facilitating the conversation. And I can tell you and assure you that my goal is to see